All right, so let's begin. You're taking whatever's on your mind, whatever's occupying your thoughts, take that, leave that outside, and we will begin with some simple stretches. So take your hands, interlace them over your head, and we're going to rotate the waist to the left and back to the right. All right, when you get back to center, we're going to open up one side and then open up the other. When you get back to center, keep those fingers interlaced. We're going to lean over as if we're going to touch our toes. And while you're letting your arms hang, just focus on the backs of your legs. Look for those tight spots. Bring yourself back up to vertical. Next, we're going to rock forward and back on the feet. Next, we'll bring the hands out in front. We're going to do circles with the wrists. And reverse directions. Okay, turn your hands to the side. Our arms, and we're going to take the hands up and down. And forward and back. And make gentle fists, and we're going to do circles with the wrists. And reverse directions. Okay, open your hands up, and we're going to work the elbows. Take those in circles in one direction. And reverse directions. Next, we're going to go to the shoulder joints. And reverse directions. All right, so now we're going to swing the arms forward and back, one over the other, alternating which one's on top. And bring your arms by your side. We're going to rest the backs of the hands on the hips. Drop one arm and reach across, gently pull in the other arm. Now switch. So the other arm's resting on the hip and draw it in. So drop that arm down. We're going to reach behind with it. Hold it with the other one and shift your weight in that direction. Then we'll switch. So bring yourself back to center. Bring the other arm in and hold that and shift your weight onto that, all the way onto that foot. And bring yourselves back to center. We're going to bring one arm over the other. You can bring them to get the hands together, great. If not, it's about the internal work we're doing of loosening up the muscles and the surface work of loosening up the skin. Now switch, so the other arm's on top. Drop those down. We're going to put one arm behind the head, push the elbow back just a touch, and hold it with the other. So when you're doing this one, be careful not to scrunch up the shoulders. We put a fair amount of work into loosening those up, and we don't want to undo the work we've done. And then switch. And bring those down. So next we're going to work on the neck. We'll begin by tilting the head forward. We're looking for a gentle curve in the back of the neck. So it helps with, particularly with this set of stretches, but with many of these, to imagine the skin is like the surface of a balloon, and that balloon's full of water, and we're loosening up, we're letting expand that skin. Now bring the chin up, lean back. Don't compress the back of the skull when you do this. We're opening up the front of the neck, up through the chin, the cheekbones, around the eyes, and up through the forehead. And bring your heads back forward. Now we're going to open up one side. So same idea, we're looking for a gentle curve as that skin expands down into the shoulders and up into the neck. And switch sides. And bring your heads back to center. We're going to turn to the left, bring our heads to the left, and turn our heads to the right. And when you get your heads back to center, we're gonna rotate the neck. So gentle circles with the head. And reverse directions. And bring your head back to center. We're going to open up one side of the neck and then the other. When you get back to center, we're going to switch and we're going to do the same thing forward and back. So open up the back and open up the front. So bring your heads back to center, and now we're going to do some mid-body work. So bring the hands out in front, and we're going to bring them up. And then as we come down, we're going to pump the backs of the knees. This one's a lot like when you're going down, a lot like closest analogy is to sitting down in a chair. All right, when you get your hands out in front of you, we're going to turn to the side and bring them up and drop them down on the other side. So we're really end up doing big circles in front. And reverse directions. When you get back to center, we're going to open up one side, open up the back as we come around, and then open up the other side. Reverse directions. And gently bring yourself back to center. So next we're going to work on the hips. If you want to use a chair or a wall, find some sort of support. As we're doing these, we're going to actually focus in on the hip. I'll describe moving it primarily with the knee, but our focus is on that hip joint. So we're going to open up that range of motion. Okay, so we'll start by kicking out to the side and around. And reverse directions. All right, bring your leg back to center. We're going to bring the knee up, out, and around. And reverse directions. Next, we'll swing the leg forward and back. And then we're going to draw that leg back and kick to the side. Then bring the leg forward and kick to the side. Okay, next we'll switch and do the other side. So we'll kick the leg out to the side and around. So again, the foot's going on a circle on level with the floor. And reverse directions. Next, we'll bring the legs to the side. We're going to bring that knee up, out, and around. and reverse directions. So next we're going to swing the leg forward and back. So it's by the side. Draw the leg back and kick to the side. Next, bring the leg forward and again kick to the side. And that'll finish that set. So step away from your support. Give yourself a little bit of room again. Bring your feet side by side. And put your hands up on your thighs. And we're going to, again, pump the backs of the knees. Just move up and down. So as we're doing these, you want to have that work being done, that pumping at the backs of the knees. You don't want to put any stress on the kneecaps. Now we're going to as we come down, bring these to the side, at the bottom, the center, and come out around the other side. So our knees are doing a circle in front of us. And reverse directions. So the kneecaps aren't designed to handle stress and bear load. They're actually meant just to protect the knees, even if that's where in this culture we tend to put all our stress when we move. Okay, now we're going to take and we're going to pump the backs of the knees as we go down, and then as we come up, bring the knees out to the side and back to center. Reverse directions. So now we're going to go on and work on the ankles. So take one leg out, the side, and do gentle circles with the ankle. And then switch directions. So as you're doing this one, if it feels like your ankle's flopping around, that's fine. A bit of an odd movement for what we normally do. Okay, now take that leg and just extend it out and rest the weight on the backs of the toes. So you're opening up the top of the foot, the front of the ankle, and the front of the shin. And now we're going to switch and work on the other side. So extend that other leg out and we'll do gentle circles with that ankle. And switch directions. Now extend that leg out. Let your weight rest on the tops of those toes. Open up the top of that foot and the front of the ankle. All right, so next we're going to finish up with some full body motion. So get your legs spread a little bit apart, more like a normal stance. Bring your arms up, make gentle fists, and we're going to open up the back so it curves around as we bring our arms forward. Then bring yourselves back up to vertical. We're going to bring our hands out in front. So we're holding that big tree trunk and turn to the left and to center. When you get back to center, we're going to keep going, turn to the other side and back to center. So we're going to mirror what we just did. And when you get to center, keep going, but bring one arm, the front arm up to the forehead, the back arm down to the tailbone. Bring yourselves back to center, and we're going to do some gentle shaking. We'll start with the hands. Work your way up the arms. Then we're going to do the shoulders and the neck. Down to the chest, the stomach, the hips, the groin, the thighs and the upper legs, through the backs of the knees, down into the calves, and into the floor. And take a moment, recenter yourself. And we'll take a break to rehydrate. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so let's see. Let's actually start by reviewing last week. So we did brush, knee, and push. The lead into that one, of course, is repulse monkey. So we would have, goodness gracious, let's see. All right, so we end up here as we do the repulse monkey. So to begin the review of last week's, we bring the one arm over the top, the other arm up behind. So where it's a bit like a baseball pitch. And as we do that, we bring the leg back by the side. So we're going to go forward into a bow stance. So the next thing we want to do as we bring that hand forward, we're going to then extend the foot out to go into our bow stance. And as we shift our weight forward, we're going to follow through and then rotate the waist. So then we'll repeat on the other side. So as we bring that back leg up, we're going to prepare our other arms. So the high one goes over the top, the other one goes underneath till we're guarding our elbow. Then we extend that foot out and follow through, finishing with rotating the waist. All right, so then we're going to go on to the next one, Fair Lady Weave Shuttles. So this one, let me just break out of that for a moment. This one, now actually I'll stay in it, sorry. What we'll do, what it looks like is we're going to go to the left with our bow stance, and then we'll do the second one to the right. So I'm going to prepare, I'm going to drop those hands, and then I turn my foot out. And as I turn, I'm going to bring those hands up, then turn them and push. Okay, so let's break that down. And I'll back up just a little bit so you can see more of my body. So to begin with, we've got to bring that back leg up. and we form them. Actually, let's concentrate on the footwork first. So I'm going to bring that back leg up to transition into it. So I'm in an empty stance. I've got the one leg pointing forward. The other is empty. Then I'm just going to open up the waist and extend my leg out. This leg is going to be pointing at a 45-degree angle into the corner. And then the actual motion proper. So that's getting myself to neutral like we talked about. And then get the initial setup done. I'm going to rotate and shift my weight. So we're with the last one where we separated those two. We did the shifting the weight and then the rotating. Here we're just combining them, and we just actually practice that for a moment. So we start facing forward. Our weight's aligned with our foot. We rotate and shift our weight. So now our weight is centered primarily over that other leg, and we're aligned with that other leg. So we'll go from about 60% or so on the one leg, to the standard 60-40 split on the other one. And we just rotate between that. So, and probably when you're doing that, you may even feel that back heel turning out. So as you practice this type of rotation more, you can use that back heel motion to drive the body. Okay. All right, so let's back up and add in the upper body. All right, and give me a split second here. We have, sorry, sometimes you guys can't hear, my wife's upstairs, and I sometimes will lose my train of thought. All right, so we've ended up here. We have not ended up here. Bear with me, I apologize. Zach, you haven't seen this happen before, but every once in a while, I will have to apologize because we do have two people in a very small place. All right, so here's where we've ended up at the end of the last one. Okay. So next, as I said, we're going to bring that rear foot up by the side. The hands, in this version of Fair Lady Weave Shells, we're just going to bring them down in front. So there's two forms of it. We're doing the simple form of Fair Lady Weave Shells. Then I'm going to open up my waist. So my foot extends out to the side and it's pointing at 45 degrees, like we said. But my hands, as I follow through with the waist, I'm going to rotate the waist and bring my arms up. And when I bring them up, my outside elbow is high. Almost like if there'd been someone's chin there, I just hit them pretty hard. My other one's going to be down low. You can see that angle I've got if you look at the video. Now, I'm going to push with the hands. So to do that, I need to turn my hands outward. So as if I'm going to push at someone out there. And then I'm going to shift that weight. Okay. And you probably caught, I described the lower body motion two different ways. So in practice, you're going to turn you turn the waist, you turn those hands, and then push. Turn those hands out and push. All right, so now we'll add in the second one. So we're facing that corner. The front foot is in that 45-degree angle. The back foot is turned out. It's probably facing that wall that we were originally facing. So as we bring that back, well, first we'll pour our weight into that front foot. So that's going to lift up our heel. Then as we drop our hands, we bring the heel up. And we're just going to mirror what we did before. Extend that foot out to the other corner. And as we rotate the waist, we bring up the hands, we turn them out, and we push. Let's back that up, and I'll break that part down also. So at the end of the previous one, we're in that bow stance. We're facing the corner. So I want to go back this other direction. I want to turn 90 degrees. So the first thing I need to do is bring myself to neutral. I'm going to pour that weight forward in that front foot. So that frees up my back foot. I can just lift that up and bring it by the side. When you do that, you'll feel your waist actually start to rotate. Continue that around as you open up the leg out in the direction we're going to go. And again, we follow through by just shifting into that bow stance we set up. Now let's back up again, and add the upper body portion. So I've started out, I've got the one foot facing forward, the other one's facing the corner, and I've done my push. So first thing I need to do is drop my hands as I bring that foot forward. And after I set myself up, I'm going to lift those hands into that angled stance as I rotate. And then rotate the hands out and finish shifting my weight. Okay, now let's just practice that through several turns. So we're going to bring that, empty our weight into the front foot, bring it back foot forward, and drop our hands. Open up the waist towards the other corner, and then raise the hands as we turn out the hands and push. Bring ourselves to neutral, so the foot comes forward again, the hands drop, rotate the waist, and then as we rotate, or open up the foot, rotate the waist, and turn the hands. So I'm going to pause there and open it up for questions. Oh, goodness. No questions? I must be getting much clearer in my teaching methodology here. We've been doing this long enough. It's coming through now.
Well, it's all about practice, right?
It is. But the form itself, the idea of the lower body is just going into a new bow stance, and then we've just got the hands coming up in that arc to push. So it's prepare the hands and then just push. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay. Well, then let's go through. Did you want to do some more of this move before we go on to the full form? No? Okay.
No,
Say again, Zach?
no, we can go on. I'm fine.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll go through the full form. Sorry, I'm looking at my camera funny because I forgot I tilted it. All right, so we'll begin by checking our stance. We want our weight balance in and out, forward and back, so that our weight's dropping through the centers of our feet. Drop your tailbone and imagine a string pulling your head from above. So you'll be grounded and opening up at the same time. And we'll begin with opening form, so that all lift your hands up. And then you gently push it down. Then we're going to hold the ball and pass it to the left. And back to the right. Parting wild horse's mane left. And parting wild horse's mane right. Single whip. Clown hands. Repulse monkey. Brush knee and push. Today's form is Fair Lady with shovels. And then the final one, grass sparrow's tail. Or the final complicated one. And we'll do it to the right. And bring yourself back to center to close. And I believe we have enough. Ah, that was a little victory, wasn't it? All right, let's go ahead and we've got time. Let's go ahead and do it through one more time. And let's see. Do you want me to do it facing away from the camera again?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
All right. So, now, let me do this. I'm going to adjust that a little bit more. It's probably more important to see my feet than my head. All right, so check your stance. And we'll begin with the opening form. Part wild horse's mane. Single whip. Cloud hands. Repulse monkey. Brush knee and push. Fair Lady weave shuttles. Grass sparrow's tail. And close.